Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back once again to our ever ongoing series on the glories of our beloved Sri Vrindavan Dham. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pastaja Deshatarane. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we are continuing with our mini-series on Stimulation for Ecstatic Love, and this will be part 70. As you may remember, we have been discussing various Vaishnava poets who inspire our devotion for the Lord. And last week, we spoke about the illustrious Surdas. While doing so, you may remember, we mentioned another poet who was a close friend of Surdas, whose name was Kumbhan Das. We mentioned at that time that he is famous as, quote, another gem amongst Brajabasa poets. Actually, both Surdas and Kumbhan Das were part of the famous 8 Ashta Chap poets in the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. They're very well known in the Vallabha Sampradaya, particularly these 8. Vallabhacharya was present in Vrindavan when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited there in the year 1515. And devotees who are well versed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita know that there are some differences of opinion between Lord Chaitanya and Vallabhacharya that exist between their followers even down to the present day. But nevertheless, Lord Chaitanya and our Srila Prabhupada maintained great respect for Vallabhacharya. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, verses 62 and 63, Kaviraj Goswami writes about how Lord Chaitanya once received Vallabhacharya. Sekale bhalabha bhata, rahe adaila grame, Mahaprabhu aila shune, aila tanre shtane. At that time, Sri Vallabha Bhatta was staying in Adailagram, and when he heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived, he went to his place to see him. Tenho Dandavat Kaila, Prabhu Kaila Alin Ghana, Duijani Krishna Kata, Haila Kata Shana. Vallabha Bhattacharya offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his obeisances, and the Lord embraced him. After that, they discussed topics about Krishna for some time. Now, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport to verse 62 there, quote, Vallabha Bhattacharya was a great learned scholar of Vaishnavism. In the beginning, he was very much devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but since he thought he could not receive proper respect from him, he later joined the Vishnu Swami sect and became the Acharya of that sect. His sect is celebrated as the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. This Sampradaya has had great influence in Vrindavan, near Gokul, and in Bombay. Srila Prabhupada goes on to give a long, detailed description therein of Vallabhacharya's life, concluding with, Vallabhacharya had 2 sons, Gopinath and Vital Eshwara, and in his old age he accepted the renounced order of life. In 1530, he passed away from the material world at Varanasi. His book, known as Shodasha Grantha, and his commentaries on Vedanta Sutra, Anubhasha, and Srimad Bhagavatam, Shobudhini, are very famous. He wrote many other books besides. So again, there are some outstanding differences between the Gaudiyas and the Vallabhas, but Srila Prabhupada has instructed us to maintain respect on this issue. For example, on November 25th, 1976, Prabhupada wrote a letter to my dear godbrother, Giriraj Swami, who was then Giriraj Das. He wrote, My dear Giriraj, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter. We can't rectify what is written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have no bad feeling or disrespect for Vallabhacharya. We consider ourselves the most obedient servants of Vallabhacharya. The exchange between Lord Chaitanya and Vallabhacharya was on friendly terms. We learn from Chaitanya Charitamrita that in the beginning, Sri Ballabhacharya criticized Sridhar Swami, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu criticized Ballabhacharya. Such kind of friendly criticism you'll always find amongst learned scholars, but that does not mean any ill feeling with one another. Such things will go on in this world, but that does not mean we have got any disrespect for any Vaishnavacharya. Hoping this meets you in good health, your ever a wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. It's quite clear. Srila Prabhupada also writes in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, I'm quoting here again, within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Ballabhacharya, and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam, and the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. So, following Srila Prabhupada's lead, we may also respect, admire, and benefit from the illustrious poetry of one of Ballabhacharya's disciples, Kumbhan Das, as we will do today. Now, this great devotee, Sri Kumbhan Das, was born on the 11th day in the month of Chaitra, that's March, April, in the year 1499, in a village called Yamunavata, near Govardhan. It's interesting, his parents were farmers, and when his parents passed away, he married and took over the responsibility of the farm. And from the beginning of his life, I was reading, I could see he was a very serious devotee. It's written that he ate only grains from his own field. He used a bowl of water for a mirror, and he shunned everything that was not directly related to the Lord. One day, when he learned that a great person, an acharya named Ballabhacharya, had come to the nearby village of Aniyor at Govardhan Hill, he and his wife went to meet Ballabhacharya. And during the meeting, Kumbhan wife, she said to Ballabhacharya, "O Maharaj, you are very exalted and a great Vaishnava. Please bless me with children." So Ballabhacharya smiled and he said, "By the grace of Govardhan Dhara, Gopal, you will have 7 boys." So hearing this, Kumbhan looked at his wife with some disappointment, and he said, "Dear one, what have you asked of the Guru? Children? You could have asked him for the Lord himself, for he is capable of giving him to you." Wow. So Kumbhan wife, she said shyly, "I asked for what I wanted. Now you ask for your Lord." So Kumbhan very humbly joined his hands and he prayed, "Dear Master, please bless me with the service of Gopal. Please bless me with the service of Gopal." Now he was referring to the deity discovered by Madhavinda Puri on Govardhan Hill. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 4.1, "I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavinda Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kira Kora. Being pleased by Madhavinda Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision." So there we hear about Gopal. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this Gopal deity was originally installed by Brajanath, the great-grandson of Krishna. Madhavinda Puri rediscovered Gopal and established him on top of Govardhan Hill. This Gopal deity is now situated at Nathdwar and is under the management of the descendants of Ballabhacharya. And as most of us know, he's called Srinathji, but originally he was Gopal. So at that point, after hearing the request of Kumbhan Das to worship Gopal, Ballabhacharya smiled and he said, "Kumbhan Das, go now to the Jamuna River and take a bath. When you come back, I will initiate you into the service of Gopal." So Kumbhan Das left to bathe in the Jamuna, and when he returned, Vallabhacharya initiated him in a ceremony right next to Govardhan Hill. And at the initiation he said, Kumbhan Das, from this day forward, because you're you write such beautiful poetry and you're such a good singer, you should sing for Gopal the eightfold daily pastimes of the Lord and eat only after having his darshan. Got direct instruction from his spiritual master. From this day forward, you should sing for Gopal the eightfold daily pastimes of the Lord and eat only after having his darshan. So it's interesting to note here that by Vallabhacharya's blessing, Kumbhan Das and his wife did eventually have 7 children, all sons. However, I was reading Kumbhan Das, although a very responsible householder, he was completely devoted to Gopal, and thus he was, you could say, internally detached from family life. Once he was asked, Kumbhan Das, how many sons do you have? He replied, 1.5. One is Chaturbhuja Das, and the half is my son Krishna Das. Chaturbhuja stays near Gopal, worships him, does seva, and experiences the joy of devotional service. And my son Krishna Das, he takes care of cows and comes daily to have darshan of Gopal, but he has yet to taste the deep nectar of pure devotion. My other sons are of no use to Gopal in any way, so their existence is equal to non-existence. Pretty strong. Unfortunately, one day, when his son Krishna Das had taken the family cows to the forest for grazing, suddenly a tiger attacked the cows. And when Krishna Das ran forward to protect them, the tiger attacked him and he died. And on hearing this incident, instead of expressing deep grief, Kumbhan Das said, though I am missing my dear son, today I am extremely proud that he gave up his life protecting Gopal's cows. So Kumbhan Das took the instruction of his spiritual master Vallabhacharya to heart, and every day he would come to sing bhajans for Gopal and his temple. Bhajans that he wrote, you could say poems that he wrote, he would sing for Gopal every day. Actually, in his lifetime, Vallabhacharya requested each of these 8 famous Ashta poets in his line to sing daily for Gopal. And so it was arranged that each would sing a different raga or melody in different talas or rhythms at specific times of the day, depicting a particular leela and its mood at that time of the day. The poet Paramananda Das would sing for Mangal Arti. Nanda Das, we're mentioning these poets here, would sing for the Sringara ceremony. Govinda Swami would sing for the Dwala ceremony. Kumbhan Das would sing for the Raj Bhoga Arti. Surdas would sing for the Uttapana ceremony. Chaturbhuja would sing at a time when Bhoga was being offered. And Chitta Swami would sing melodies for the Sanja Arti. Hare Krishna. Oh, there's one more, yes. Krishna Das, he would sing for the Shayana ceremony. So there's the 8. So many devotees appreciated, in particular, the poetry and singing of Kumbhan Das. Historically, one of them was the Rajman Singh of Amber, that great Krishna-conscious devotee general in the army of Emperor Akbar. We spoke extensively of him, you may remember, in a previous lecture, maybe 2 years ago. So once Rajman Singh was returning from his conquests somewhere in India and heading home to Agra, when he thought to himself, it has been many days that I have not visited Mathura or Vrindavan. He's a great general, but he's a Krishna Bhakta. So after the battles, he's coming back to Agra, and he's thinking, for many days I have not visited Mathura or Vrindavan. I should again visit those sacred places. So I was reading, it was summertime, and thinking like this, he reached Mathura. Then after bathing and resting, he went for darshan of the famous Keshava deity. Keshava deity was still being worshipped there. And from there he headed for Vrindavan. Now, when the Goswamis of Vrindavan heard that Man Singh was coming for darshan of the Vrindavan deities, they decided to dress their respective deities very beautifully. Many of these mahants, or these Goswamis in charge of various temples, they heard, this great general is coming, he's a Krishna Bhakta, very important person. Let's decorate our deities or dress them very wonderfully. So now, when Man Singh arrived in Vrindavan proper, he visited, I think, 4 or 5 temples, and then he left to visit the temples at Govardhan Hill. And he reached the village of Govardhan just before noon, and he camped next to Manasi Ganga Lake. And there he had darshan, of course, of Haridev. Afterwards, someone informed him about the worship of Gopal on Govardhan Hill. So curious, Man Singh left, and upon reaching the village of Gopalpur, he inquired what was the time for darshan of this deity he had not heard about before, Gopal, up on the hill. And he was informed that the Uttapana darshan was already over, and the next darshan would be soon at the time of offering bhoga. So hearing this, Rajman Singh, he started climbing up Govardhan Hill. And it was a very hot day, and he'd been on the move for some time, and he was very tired, and it's described he was suffering from the heat. However, as soon as he reached Gopal's temple, at that very moment, boom, the temple doors opened. And upon entering the temple, Rajman Singh prostrated himself, this big Kshatriya soldier. He fell flat on the ground. And rising up and seeing Gopal, for the very first time, he said, "Gopal is certainly Krishna himself, the moon of Vrindavan. I have heard this in the Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavatam, but now I am seeing it with my own eyes. And here in front of Gopal, Kirtan is being sung so sweetly with much devotion. This is a blessed day for me." It was recorded by his scribes. In fact, the singer was Kumbhan. He was singing at his scheduled time. And as Rajman Singh continued to listen to Kumbhan singing, he was greatly moved. Historians write that Kumbhan was singing Rupa Deka Naina Palade Nahini Govardhan Ke Anga Anga Prati Niraki Naina Mana Rahata. This is Bhajbas. My eyes cannot rest and my eyelids cannot close, seeing the radiance of my Lord. Each limb of Sri Gopal is such that my heart is fully satisfied simply seeing through these eyes. So Rajman Singh, he stood mesmerized, gazing upon Gopal and relishing the singing of Kumbhan. After some time he left and he went back to the camp he set up at Manasi Ganga. And when he arrived there, he inquired as to who that devotee was, whose poetic singing had melted his heart. And when the local people informed him it was Kumbhan, they told Rajman Singh that he lived in the village of Parasholi, situated on the Parikrama marg around Govardhan. So the next morning, Rajman Singh rose there at Manasi Ganga, and after bathing, he went on Govardhan Parikrama. It's a great Kshatriya going on Govardhan Parikrama. And when he reached Parasholi, he saw Kumbhan, who was seated with his niece, having just finished his morning oblations, and he was fully absorbed in thoughts of his beloved Lord Gopal. So approaching Kumbhan very respectfully, Rajman Singh came and he bowed down to Kumbhan and he sat next to him. Now seeing that Kumbhan was completely absorbed in meditating on his beloved Gopal, Kumbhan niece mentioned to him that the great Raj, king, Man Singh, was present, sitting next to him. To that, Kumbhan said, "What can I do? Can you please go and converse with the Raj elsewhere? I don't want to be distracted from my morning meditation on my Lord Gopal. In fact, because I was in a rush today, I have not properly applied my tilak. My dear niece, can you run and bring a bowl of water so I can properly apply that tilak mark on my forehead? Remember, he was very renounced. He didn't have a mirror. He just put tilak on for the reflection of the bowl of water. So his niece brought a bowl filled with water, and looking at his reflection in the bowl, Kumbhan started to apply tilak. So the Raj was sitting right next to him. So seeing this, Rajman Singh was surprised, and he offered Kumbhan Das his own bejeweled small mirror, which he used himself like when dressing in the mornings. He said to Kumbhan Das, "This is a jeweled mirror. Please, you can keep it." So Kumbhan Das said to Rajman Singh, "Sir, ours is a simple straw-roofed home. Who knows? Someone might come in and kill us for this mirror." Then Rajman Singh, he placed a bag of gold coins in front of Kumbhan Das as an offering, to which Kumbhan Das said, "Sir, I do not need money. I have a small piece of farmland which yields enough for our needs." Then Rajman Singh said, "But may I give a deed assigning a village to you?" So Kumbhan Das said, "Sir, I am not willing to accept anything from you. I have everything I need." At this, Rajman Singh said, "Baba, please allow me to give you at least something. Command me." So Kumbhan Das said, "Will you really do what I ask you to do?" And Rajman Singh, he folded his hands and he said, "Yes, I will do whatever you ask me to do." So Kumbhan Das said, "I request you to never offer me anything again, for I have everything I need for Gopal's seva, and I have the great service of singing for him each and every day." So impressed, Rajman Singh said, "Baba, I have traveled far and wide, and I have seen many so-called saints whose devotion is mixed with name, fame, and money. But here, sitting next to me, is one who is truly a devotee of the Lord." So saying this, Rajman Singh, he prostrated himself before Kumbhan Das, and then he left. Hare Krishna. So naturally, I think we can conclude today with several verses from Kumbhan Das's poetry. They are from his Shri Kumbhan Adasha Ji Ki Vani. Shri Radhika, the embodiment of the nectar of pure love, is fully immersed in bliss and a playful mood. The daughter of Shri Vrishabhanu is like a golden vine wrapped around a dark tamal tree. She is always engaged in the company of youthful Krishna, who upholds Govardhan Hill. Kumbhan Das says, when they are together, love prevails in their play. Shri Krishna, who is the remover of all sorrow, is resting in Shri Radhika's abode. Lalita and the other gopis are fanning them and creating a cool breeze. As Shri Radha hears his voice, the fire of separation that has been burning in her heart is cooled. The poet Kumbhan Das says, Lalita addresses him with the name Radharaman, he who enjoys pastimes with Shri Radha. Hare Krishna, some of his poetry. So next week we'll continue with part 2 of the glories and the poetry of the great Vaishnava saint and poet Kumbhan Das. There's much more to be told about him. So thank you, Prabhus. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radharani ki, Kumbhan Das ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagya ki, Nitai Gaur Pimanandi, Jai Jai Sri Sri Radhe Shyam. See you next Friday. Hare